Roundtable. Thank you. So let it is. Let me do my thing. We're live now. Brothers and sisters, good afternoon, good evening. Good evening. We're here with the candidates for the National Vice President to Diaspora, Mr. Tamisa Efosa Ogbe and Dr. James Ohima Ruke. I want to welcome both of you as you represent us. Let me say this, Mark, when you're not speaking, could you mute your mic because we're getting some reverberations from you. All right, so again, welcome, gentlemen. If you can see my screen, I pulled out from the Constitution the duties of a vice president in to diaspora. And it's a very scant description. There are two major functions. The national vice president shall perform the duties of the national president in his absence, which means he can deputize you to be him. The second one is the national vice president shall perform any other duties as assigned by the national president from time to time. So given those two platforms, that one, you can deputize and act as the national president, or two, you can be an ambassador, extraordinary plenipotentiary, and carry on the duties of the national president, not in his absence, but in an assigned capacity. So this brings me to the notion of jurisdiction. I want to pose a question to you, and anyone who's comfortable can take this off. Right now, USAOSA is configured as one block in diaspora, one single block. And for good or bad, I want to know from where you stand and where your vision is. Do you believe that this centralized single block of the diaspora is the way to go? Or do you think that, as the Constitution provides, we should establish chapters in different areas? What is your perspective? Any one of you can take this.
Well, okay, I can start if you don't mind.
Please, go for it.
So first of all, let me thank you, Ben, for an extraordinary job you've taken on to organize these elections. What started off to be just, in my view, a friendly affair has turned out to keep everybody on his toes as we fight for competitive position. It's been very interesting elections or campaigns in the last couple of days, and it just makes me excited knowing that people are keen to serve USAOSA. But now to your question about jurisdiction and acting as a VP diaspora within that framework. My role will be to seize that opportunity, because I see it as an opportunity rather than just a challenge. I think serving as a VP diaspora president, it's a unique chance to create that main diaspora chapter for everyone outside the country. The world is now a global village, and a sizable number of people exist outside Nigeria. There's a mass wealth also outside that we currently do not tap. With the help of the diaspora, we can get that help of willing people who are ready to make things run. Anybody who fit into that description, diaspora, is streetwise. It's not. I wouldn't see him as just someone moving around with a pocket of cash, but rather, if somebody can leave Nigeria to outside, I believe that person is street smart to survive enough to be able to have a roof over his head and do well overseas. So I believe we can set our minds on whatever we set our minds on. We can harness, therefore, the strength of the diasporans for USAOSA. We can meet with Diaspora's USA on Zoom and or Skype or any of these social media platforms. And the benefit of association, I would just give when with this example, when I last visited, when I traveled out, I find myself in Kingston. And I just posted in our school platform, is anybody around Kingston? And lo and behold, one of my classmates was in Brockville, which is like 15 minutes away. And he drove to my location, to my hotel, and we had a good time. And he spent the time even advising my children. It was just a wonderful bond that I never expected was going to happen. So we have our people everywhere. There's people development, and
Mr. Sorry to interrupt. I need to rephrase. I need to redirect the question, and I need to give Temisa an opportunity to respond. Your response has been elaborate and great, but there's a question that I posed about the present configuration. We are seen as one block: UK, North America, Europe, Asia. Anything that's overseas is called diaspora. So I will give you an opportunity to address that. But what I wanted you to do was, in your vision for the next 2 years, and we can come back to you, but I want to give Temisa an opportunity to respond. Do you want to carry on with the present single block, or do you want to decentralize and have USAOSA UK, USAOSA North America, USAOSA Asia? That was the question. Mr. Ogbe, give us your response, and we can come back to Dr. James.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ben. I so much appreciate all you've been doing. And I guess you've been following up, and I'll be following up with you, seeing your hard work. And I know it's not easy, especially you are in New York. So I know what it takes. Just as I understand an ordinary, our life, how it goes. Like you mentioned earlier, being a streetsman, being in diaspora is not something that is that easy to us, also living your own land. Now, going to direct to your question. I see Unity School as to come together as a block, because that is the fundamental principles that Unity School was founded, that all may be one. And I still stand with that. Hence, as of 3 days ago, keeping my promises and keeping the things I said I was going to do, I've already started working. I have created a kind of starting from the WhatsApp and moving forward to website, as the one of the candidates prescribed that we're going to build a website that will unite all the chapters. It's like a bridge. We have to build this bridge. We cannot continue to leave chapter 1, chapter 3, chapter that. Let everyone come to a place. Just like Dr. James also said, that the benefit of it is this. If I'm in America alone and I'm on that chapter, American chapter, North American chapter, I don't even know my friends and brothers and sisters as is in Europe. So under this platform, we will be able to communicate directly. You will know who is where and where is at. And if at a time someone is in brotherly need, we can come together and say, oh, he's in Australia, he's in Spain, he's in Greece. We cannot just stay in our own domain locally and believe that we are saying that all may be one. Doing that, if I will come to a conclusion to say that it is better we unify Unity School Association into a block of the diaspora and into a block of the Africans, or whichever, that's a national body which holds the constitution and the foundation of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Ben, maybe you missed my point. Maybe you missed my point when I said I will create a main diaspora chapter for everyone. So your vision are essentially the same. You want to centralize. Yeah, so it's a little
single block.
It's but where the differentiation of my plan is that whereas I will create a main diaspora chapter for everyone outside the country, I will also allow satellite diaspora groups to meet in form of cell, because I think our constitution provides for a minimum number of USAOSA people that can constitute a chapter. Once they are big enough, when the numbers grow, then those with the numbers can have their local meetings, but the main diaspora chapter will hold everyone outside the country together. We can have a yearly convention, post-COVID, hopefully, by the grace of God, in Europe, in US, or maybe in Agbaro. Okay.
Yes, in fact,
yeah.
sorry to interrupt, because I have to move things a little fast. I'm sorry. If you're looking at the screen now, you can see a copy of our Constitution. And the relevance of this question is based on this simple principle. Section 4 of the Constitution of 2010, which is our current Constitution, states that a chapter of the association may be formed in any town, any city, any location, any part of the world. Secondary to that, each state in Nigeria shall be a chapter of the association. Where there is need for a second chapter in the same state, the minimum number members required to form a chapter shall be 20 members. Now, here is my dilemma. There are only 6 chapters right now for USAOSA worldwide. If you live in Kano, you don't have a chapter. If you live in Akure, you are out of luck. If you live in Lokoja, you don't have a chapter. So seeing this provision of the Constitution, the direction of centralization is all well and good because it makes it easy to manage.
Yes.
But as you well know, both of you belong to USAOSA North America. We're more than 30 in that group.
Yes.
So we meet the quota to start a chapter.
Moderator,
so the question is, again, for clarification, is it not a political disadvantage to group everybody in the diaspora as one person when each of you could have a chapter? And this association, as you well know, is based on chapters. You
Okay.
Let me take that question. Let me take that question first. To that, I also agree to that if we have to be creating chapters, like especially in the diaspora, which is the main reference here, it's going to, in a way, divide us because we know what it takes to be here in diaspora. We are already, far away from each other due to work and other things going on in our life, especially what we know is this country, especially America, was all about. And if we go chapter to chapter, we actually just shifting away from each other because chapter 1 in Houston, for example, will be hosting, whereas chapter 3 in California, we don't know anything about who is in the chapter in Houston. Hence, unifying the diasporas will come as a very big political, economical, benefiting advantages to every one of the members. Like I said again, the benefit is higher than the disadvantages.
Thank you.
Can I come in here?
Yes.
Okay, so we had our 45th anniversary celebration, I think in December 2019. And in 2024, we will have our 50 years celebration. So USA golden anniversary. There's some noise, I think.
Tujiri, let me mute him. All right, go ahead, sir.
So the USA golden anniversary is another golden opportunity to rally diaspora USAOSAs globally, okay? So when we're talking, I want us to be a little bit flexible in assessing the pros and cons because and not lose sight of the big picture. We're at points now where we need to create what I would call cross-generational bond, okay, among diaspora people for the purpose of interpersonal development. We're in different levels in life. First of all, we need to build trust. We need unity to collaborate. We want to give people ladder to pull them up. Some people are here, some people are there, some people are in the middle. We want to see what constraints people have. It could be economic, it could be technical, it could just be exploiting frameworks, cooperative arrangements, or creating safety nets. Those are the essence. I mean, that's the essence, really, of the Diaspora Association, pushing resources to the right areas. So whether we achieve that as satellite chapters or as a corporate diaspora framework would be dependent on the situation. So I wouldn't want to be caught up in the technicalities of how we operate. What I would say is that there will be my master plan will comprise a main diaspora chapter for everyone outside the country. Okay, and because we're a global village, and a smaller number of people exist, pockets of people exist in different places. If they meet the number criteria as spelled out in the Constitution, they can have their chapters. But at the same time, we'll have unifying events that will bring us together every now and then. So I think with that master plan, we'll be able to make more progress.
Thank you. I can't thank you both enough. We have to move away from this jurisdiction framework. I appreciate your responses. Just to clarify, Mr. Ogbe is for a centralized, unified, structure that encompasses all of diaspora in one, main group. Dr. James Aruke supports the same overarching framework with the notion that individual groups, organically can, spring up, but they should all be tied to the overarching structure. So your visions are similar. I want to move away now to another constitutional provision. The Constitution, which is really the heart of everything that this association is about, provides for the headquarters of USAOSA to be at Unity School, Agbaro. That is a provision. What is your reaction to that? Why not Lagos? Why not Abuja? Why make the headquarters USA? Anyone?
If I may go.
Yes, Mr. Ogbe.
I will thank you for that question. And it is very, very essential that even while I'm here in diaspora, there's a place called home. I will certainly go back home, except for few of us that decide to want to stay here all their life and give up the ghost. But my plan, and majority of people's plan, is to one day be home, establish that home, develop that home, especially your community and your environs and the people that is around that community. And that is what I stand for. Putting the headquarters in Unity School, Agbaro, if we can get the strength, put up infrastructure and build something there and call it the USAOSA headquarters, that would be very good. The reason is this: we all started from there. We all got a lot from there that made us who we are today. And definitely, we cannot shift the benefits of having something on ground that, if like when we went there for the 45th anniversary, a lot of the indigents around that community, especially the students, they benefited a lot for just those few days ceremony. They now talk of something that is now stable, that will be in that environment or the community. There will be a lot of advantages for them and also to the members. There will be a lot of benefits, and the students will also be looking up to, and it will be an eyeball. We're going to be seeing everything right from the office of what is actually going on. And it will give us the strength and the zeal and the spirit to know that right in front of our doorstep of the situated headquarters is the school campus. And we cannot neglect if anything is going on. And it's going to give us a first-hand class of management.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay.
Ogbe. So
So you
before we
want me-
turn it over to, I just want to clarify that your position is that the headquarters at Unity School Agbaro is a good thing.
Yes, sir.
Dr. James.
Yeah, I mean, the headquarters really technically can't be anywhere else. Headquarters has to be strategically in Unity School because that is where everything started. Okay, and we cannot. We have to keep that focus on Agbaro, and only when we keep that focus in Agbaro can we become intimate with all the student issues, all the instructors or the teachers, all the infrastructure issues, because it will have a way of drawing us home. And whenever we come home, we'll see the need to confront the students, to stimulate their academic prowess, to talk about exchange programs, give them exposure, tell them that the sky is their limit. Just get them to produce their best. So all those things, collaboration, teaching them tolerance, just like we did. Unity School drew us from University of Benin in 1987 to go back to Agbaro for 2 weeks where we taught them all manner of subjects. So it's going to be drawing us to meet the teachers, to the drawing board, and seeing the infrastructure, and seeing the situation of the electricity supply, seeing the situation of the water supply deficit, and see how we can do interventions to solve the problems. But if it's only when the headquarters is there that it will continue to rally people back to Agbaro for the purpose of
wonderful.
Yes.
Now, both of you have made the nativist argument, which is basically that the framers of the constitutions were thinking that if the headquarters is located at Unity School Agbaro, we will be close to the school. We will be, all eyes will be on the development and the maintenance, and that speaks very well. But when you start to think of the influence, bringing a lot of people beat their chest about bringing in government support, bringing in corporate support, you would need some kind of connection, don't you think, to the centers, the corridors of power, Federal Capital Territory in Abuja, in Lagos, So is there anything to say for the headquarters having like satellites in these other cosmopolitan centers?
Yeah, so
Definitely.
One at a time, please. Mr. Ogbe, you first.
Definitely. Satellite is essential. It's very useful. You cannot have we cannot have a base and just stay there stagnant and expect to maybe take a flight or something or ride to wherever we want to draw our energy or our strength or connections from. We have to, it's just like in Nigeria. For example, we have a country, we have embassies. Every country has embassies. And those are satellites. They like acting upon, just as we, the VP. We're going to sometimes be delegated to act as a president. So this is the same thing. Everything in infrastructure or scenario or in establishment or management, it boils around the circle of how we exist. In that context is that satellite is very essential. With the headquarters situated in Agbaro, we need those satellites to be able to communicate for that mission in order to draw all those benefits back to Agbaro.
Thank you, Mr. Ogbe. Dr. Aruke?
So the arrangement, it doesn't take away from the arrangement of still letting those influence liaison going on, trying to rekindle, people in government to formulate the blueprints, or even partnering with governments. So it doesn't take away from that. All that will go on. That's really the job of the VP diaspora, to really wield that influence among the diaspora people to make sure that we bring all we can to Unity School. So we can still keep that model, make Unity School the headquarters, but then have all these pockets of satellites, and then formulate good governance within the satellites to ensure that our resources flow to Agbaro.
Thank you very much, Dr. Aruke and Mr. Ogbe. Listen, this time I wish all the roundtables will be like this, knock on wood. No interruptions. You guys are just doing marvelously well, and I think folks on YouTube appreciate you. For the remainder of our short time here, because we're scheduled to stop in another 5 minutes, I want to give you an opportunity, each of you, to tell us, Mr. Ogbe, in your introductory video, you spoke of STAR. You spoke of it in terms of a reference as your, leadership mantra, your leadership philosophy. And I want you to talk for the next 2 minutes about STAR and how that would impact your VP1. Now, before you begin, Dr. Aruke, just to prep, you also spoke of a 7-point agenda on your introductory video. When Mr. Ogbe finishes, I would like for you to just wrap up. And essentially, in your responses, you should be telling us why USAOSA should have you as the next VP Diaspora. Thank you. Mr. Ogbe?
Thank you so much. Yes, I took that word STAR because STAR is always making references to everything that is powerful, good, and that acceptable by so many. If you're giving, we want to praise somebody, you will say, whoa, that man or that lady got 5 stars. And that 5 stars, you go to a hotel, you say you want a 5-star hotel. The reason for that is the quality. It's a strategic means whereby the situation arises. You have to look at the situation first in your hands and say, look, we got this situation at hand. How do we do it? Then you analyze it. So when you put in the analysis on how you can put things in order, then you mobilize. After you mobilize, then you find a resolution, and everything comes just like the STAR. STAR stands for what I meant it to be. I will never see a situation where I will never jump in. And once that situation arrives, which is the duty to perform behind the president and all ESCO, I will put in that STAR. I will analyze the situation, and I will stand to resolve it with no inch of breaking out. No matter what it takes, together with all the ESCOs and members involved, especially drawing the powers from diasporas, which we are now forming to unite and being one umbrella, so that we can all know ourselves and have that big strength to be able to develop Unity School Agbaro.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Aruke, your summation, please.
Okay, so I said in my submission that I was the best person for the job. So what are the antecedents of the contestants in this race? What has been the track record? We need someone who has shown enough passion in the affairs of USA. And right from my college days, right from my old students' activities, those activities can speak on my behalf as much as possible. I was the president of the Unity School Agbaro Old Students Association because I have always wanted to impact students' activities, students' experience, enrich their experience. I wanted to promote this as much as possible. Being the vice president would help me to drive the change I wish to see. And by leading the kind of campaigns and organizing the events that I like to have, I can steer the direction of USA. I can advance the causes that I and my peers believe in for the good of Unity School. I can take a more active role as a VP. It will allow me to interact with the students from a range of different backgrounds. And this can result in very strong, lasting relationships. I'll meet people from different cultures. I'll work with a diverse range of people, including professionals, academics, senior school staff, wider and more importantly, the makeup of the students. So those, my experiences in USA as a University of Benin, where I led alumni to visit Unity School Agbaro, and we taught them for 2 weeks. And my central location in the Middle East means that I can seize opportunities to visit Unity School Agbaro, as I have done a number of times in the past. And I also have an experience running a non-profit. I can leverage and bring to bear what experience that I have. And given my agenda that you talked about, so I have done quite a number of things to, as president, or even as president, Unity School Agbaro, and as welfare secretary. So I have raised COVID-19 relief funds for my for my classmates. Right. Okay, just because I'm involved, I'm concerned with the welfare of my colleagues. I've also set up a critical life insurance scheme for illness, critical life illness, and death.
Thank you, Dr. Aruke. I know time is the only constraint. If I could just echo the sentiments of those people watching on YouTube. Somebody said, "Wonderful. This one is difficult choice to make." Two wonderful candidates who are passionate and have similar visions. I congratulate you both. Unfortunately, only one will win. You know, so again, that's kind of carrying the pulse of the moment. As we wrap up, you gentlemen have given wonderful accounts for your candidacy. I have with me here in the Zoom room another member of the Electoral Committee, Mr. Andy Obajire from London, UK. I don't know if you have any questions for these gentlemen as we wrap up. If you do not, all that is left for me is to wish you Godspeed and congratulate both of you on a very wonderful roundtable. I expect that in 2 days, we will be at the polls, and one of you is going to be elected in one way or the other. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I know it feels like you didn't get everything in that you wanted to, but trust me, you got plenty in, and the electorate is happy and they can chew on this. Again, for those that are out there, I don't know if anybody has a question for them. We can spare a minute or two. They are not in a hurry, but feeling any, okay, Mr. Obajire wants to speak. Go ahead. You are muted, sir. You have to unmute your microphone.
My questions, thank you very much. That was a beautiful performance by the contestant. But my question, I'm not going to be asking you from my position as a member of the Electoral Commission. I am going to be asking you in my position as the chair of Diaspora UK. I honestly don't know what's happening in the US. Back in the UK, we have a diaspora, a very strong one at that, one in the UK. And I honestly don't know what's happening. How many diaspora do we have in the UK, in the US? We don't seem to have that detail. And for Aruke, I think Aruke, when he was in Canada, yeah, that was, I think it was more accessible. Now it's in Saudi or whatever. Am I right?
I still have my home in Canada, so I'm
I'm
in Saudi for work.
Okay, it's all right. So back to the basics. There is so much to be done from the diaspora point of view. How to harmonize, because like we are not knitted up at all. When you say diaspora from Nigeria, you're looking at anyone who is outside Nigeria. I think that's the meaning. Yeah. So I would really want to hear what you're going to do, because at the moment, for me, the strongest diaspora we have is in the UK. what are we planning to do to strengthen the other ones? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Obajere. Maybe I should come in here.
That's where we began, incidentally.
Yeah. Thanks for that question, Obajere. So by the way, I got to Canada in 2003, 2006, 2009 was when I came to Saudi. And now I have spent more time in Saudi than I spent in Canada as well. But while in Canada, I interacted very much with the diaspora group there. And what I have said, I identify with all the concerns that you have raised. And I can tell you that you're absolutely right. We are underutilizing the power within the diaspora. We are not tapping. It's just like an iceberg. You see just the surface. You don't see the big substructure. So there's a mass of wealth that we are not tapping. And that really pains me. And one of the opportunities I see here is how we can rally around all those diasporas. So the program that I have, I think is the best for now. To make sure that we have a main diaspora chapter. Everyone outside the country will belong to the main diaspora chapter. Everyone, so long as you're outside Nigeria, you belong to the main diaspora chapter. Now, the existing diaspora sections that have mustered enough strength and are constitutionally, that Constitution provides them to form sections, can continue to form their sections, but we'll have unifying programs to make sure that we'll come together as one. And so that was the program. That was the program I rolled out before, and it's in my master plan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ogbe. Same question.
Let me come in here, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Andy, and I look forward to one day just coming to your diaspora chapter meeting in Europe. And like I said earlier, from the beginning, I have already started work. And because I believe I'm going to get the vote. And the reason is this: the work I started, I have gone to as much as want to know my brother. Up till now, I see your name, but I never know who you are. And I don't even know where you reside, not knowing you're Europe. So that hurts me a lot, knowing that I have brothers, I have sisters, somewhere I can I go to Amsterdam, I travel a lot, and I go places. But I go like a stranger. But it boils down to me as of 3 days ago and say, look, this is what I'm fighting for. I found my brothers and sisters. I need to start locating them at the point wherever they are. And that is where the framework comes in. I've already created a website called Diaspora USAOSA Diasporas. It's worldwide. I want everybody to, when I share it, I wanted to share it after this, not make it like political. So we are going to be in one group, one umbrella, like we said earlier. We're going to know ourselves. We're going to have a brother so that we can draw that strength, that power that you guys, the elders and my mates, everyone you have created in Europe. In America, your question was, what about America? What are we up to? Well, in America, I will not tell stories wherever I have. We've doing our best, but we're not that strong. We're not even standing together as one because we barely communicate. And when we do, there is no response. So many times. So that is the bridge I want to break. That is the hurdles we need to jump. And that is the reason I said, if we communicate with everyone in the whole world and bring them under a roof, which is the strategic plans that I have, that I projected, definitely something like that won't be happening. Just like you said, he said earlier, Doctor said, we can have a conference in New York. We can say we have a conference and this thing will be time scheduled. So you can meet plans, you can make plans to be there. A lot of people want to travel to Australia. I've never been there. We can
Dr. Benz, somebody's been reading my master plan.
Gentlemen,
We just
gentlemen,
have the same. We just have the same.
Somebody's
We just
been
have
reading
the
my
same.
mind.
gentlemen.
We just have the
Let me
same.
come in. Let me come in. Let me come
Yeah.
in. I have to correct a few impressions. It hurts to hear that our presence in North America is wishy-washy or not strong. I was brought into the North America USAOSA group about a little over a year ago by Henry of Versailles, and I immediately proceeded. I saw the deficit immediately, and I immediately proceeded to create an electronic infographic.
Correct.
Yes, you did a lot.
Yeah, I did that, and it accounts for 30 members. The Constitution only requires 20. We're 30. And not only do I identify the cities of residence, I also identify your class sets. There are 5 people from the pioneer sets of 1980. I can even name them off the top of my head. Joe Okoye, you have Ben Osaibovo in Texas. You also have Ohiole in Dallas. You have Anselm in Illinois. I'm forgetting his second name now. But you get the point.
Henry Obasoge.
Not to cut you. Don't get me wrong. When I say not that strong,
here is the sorry.
You have Bawo Okotie. You have Bawo Okotie. You have Bozaigato.
Yeah.
And Carolina.
In Canada. Hear me out, guys.
We've been doing a lot of work.
The clincher is this. To form a chapter, the Constitution says you need 20 people. That's the easy part. The tricky part is that you have to pay chapter dues to USAOSA National. Correct. So a lot of us find it easy to congregate when there is no financial commitment. Just sign me up. Yeah, I'm fine. Now, when it comes to paying dues, which is the prerequisite to becoming a chapter,
that's where
it's totally something else. And that's why I started this conversation with jurisdiction, and because I'm feeling that heat too. We want to do better. We want to be aspirational. We want to fix things. Yeah. And I can tell you my opinion. I think it's a political disadvantage to have USAOSA diaspora as a single block.
Correct.
Delta has 2.
Yep.
Asaba and Wari. They move mountains. If we remain the way we are, we're going to be ostracized politically. Anyway, I don't want to turn this into.
That's exactly the plan I rolled out, initially. And I talked about Edgar. No. Edgar, I was with Edgar in Houston.
I'm going to give you 1 minute each to round up, and then we'll be done. Please. Aruke, continue. Just wrap up, but keep it to a minute.
So we've been on the ground. We've grappled with all these issues, and so we're not coming with some theories. I have crossed the whole of North America. I know Samson Esiama, not by name, by his house. I've been to Edgar's house in Houston. Ojo Pepe, Ohiole Agomor, I have been to his house. Joe Okoye, Felix Ayanro, the barrister in New York. I know all these people on first name basis. So even for starters, I can muster a lot of clout that some of the newcomers in this race, it will take them like 5-10 years to begin to learn how to work in those parts. So from that standpoint, I bring in a lot of experience. I can hit the ground running. I know the issues as an executive of USAOSA, as a president of USAOSA in the University of Benin, as a president in Unity School. I know all the issues and I can hit the ground running. I'm passionate to power up USA. I'm passionate to bring digitalization to the hands of the students and connect the students to the world, to the whole world. We need to leapfrog. I call it leapfrog inequality, because if you've been outside this country, if you've been to Canada, if you've been to